Hey there.
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for having me.
No, no problem. Thank you for doing this for us.
Yeah, no problem, man. Excited.
Yeah. So whereabouts are you now?
Me, I'm studio always.
Oh,
Feel
okay.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good place to be.
yeah, man. Always, right? Just gotta just get that creative energy out, man.
Congratulations with the album, The Skeletons.
Thank you.
So it's
Thank you
out in
so much.
how many days? About 1 week or so. It'll be out.
Yep. It's all crazy how fast it's coming up, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, so
Oh, it's
for
fantastic.
sure.
The whole album. I mean, for me, when I first listened to it, it's heavy. It seems like it's dark, but it's not when you get right into it. It's got a great message, and I mean, it's really a message should be out there. Everyone should be listening to this album and getting what out of it, what you guys have put into it.
It means a lot, because we spent a lot of time and trying to just put out. It wasn't even we were trying, right? Like
Yeah.
we have all this built up energy or pent up energy that's just we buried. At least for me, I buried it. I've
Yep.
just tried to just you try to be a leader for your friends, for your family, and for the band, and just deal with some of this stuff, right? But the reality is this: that for the past 3 years, it's just shook a lot of people in different ways, and not being able to tour and not being able to do what I've been doing since I was 12 years old. It's like it was hard. It was hard, and I think that just when I sat down to shut my eyes and write the lyrics for this album, this is just what came out. So it started with a lot of personal healing. I had the Storm, Paranoid. I mean, especially those songs early on in the process, just they were very much helping me get through, just my life and just looking ahead for the future and where I was going to be personally, and the way they were helping me and giving me such strength to move forward and to know that I'm not alone. It just you just knew that these songs were going to be special to other people, and when you can release something that's positive and inspirational to other people and give them hope. I mean, we take big responsibility in that. I think there's something that when we look back at our lives as a band collectively, when teachers, parents, whoever it was, when they couldn't help, it was always the music that was there to stay true and help us through those times. So I think there's a responsibility that we share, with each other as brothers and sisters in this project to whenever there's a song that comes out and it can have a positive message, we don't shy away from it, man. It's like, look, just because we're in a hard rock band and we wear black doesn't mean we can't be kind, man, and try to get back. So,
Yeah.
it was really fun. We had a lot of fun making this album. I mean, we went to certainly for me, I went to a lot of dark places, that made me uncomfortable. But
Mm.
having the band there to support and certainly our producer Drew Falk, I mean, he was just incredible. The way he was able to get the guitar, the energy of every instrument,
Yeah.
and the way that the way he has my vocal sounding on all these songs. It was just to me, by far the best pop evil record. The way we're having fun, it feels like we're finally able to start being more driven to getting a more consistent sound for our old school fans, but at the same time, playing with that duality that is technology, right? It's
Yeah.
technology, whether that's not being afraid to throw some of those elements in the songs, but still making it pop evil, and being open to those modern things that bring in that next generation of fans that hopefully will be with us for a long period of time. So
Yeah.
again, we were very much in a survival mentality in this, like prove it to our fan base, and we wanted people to know that, hey, we heard you. We know that they want us to do certain things, and we get that. And I think it stems back all the way back to our third album. When I wrote Torn to Pieces and Trenches, my dad had just passed away, so I was very pissed off. There was a lot of anger built up, and I didn't know how to handle it. And I think that led to songs like Footsteps, and I was just sick of being in darkness. I had to go to the light, so to speak, and I had to find songs that could not bring me out of that, man, and save me. And so now, then throw the pandemic in,
Mm.
pissed off and angry all over again, right? So it was. I don't necessarily want to go back to those places I was in personally, but definitely, I think Drew had a big part of that too. Like still being able to be dark, but still being able to be uplifting in moments in time, really make it. It just felt right, this album, But again, we weren't necessarily trying to set out to write anything. It was just whatever's going to come out. This is a snapshot and moment in our time in the band's history, and we didn't want to shy away from wherever it took us, And we're definitely excited. Still thinking though about being driven about that consistency that we can give our fans, and being excited about that for the future. but always being able to mix in that duality that is the technology in the future, and where music is going, and that blend with the old school ways that we did from when we first started. So it was awesome, man. We were having a lot of fun making this record, and we're so excited to finally have it now on the horizon of being released to the world. So we're stoked.
No, that's great. It definitely comes across too, like what you were just saying, man, about with the message about the whole COVID thing. I mean, it doesn't have to be just COVID. Just your messages in the songs, like about saying like I'm not good enough, or I'm alone, or whatever, things like that. It's like you're talking about it, but you're giving the answers as well. Like, hey, don't listen to those voices in your head. Just get on with life, and that really comes across on this album.
Well, it means a lot, because we worked hard, and we're definitely a lot. Every album, right, is your journey. It's your personal. That's what we're doing this, right? We want to get better than the last album. We want to be better people off the stage as we are on the stage, right? So, that journey, it makes it fun again. Like, I feel like, I've said on this album too, we're stripping it down to the bones, like stripping it back to our roots. Like, that was some of the roots, right? It's not just musically. It's about us getting back to when we were kids and we just wanted to do this for fun. Like, we never wanted to do this for fame or money. Who cares? We wanted to just play music, and I think that can get lost when you get, kind of caught up in just what this business is and how fast you're always on to the next. So it was important, when we had, the pandemic kind of had it flashed in front of our faces that we might never actually do this, or we might have to find a different job. It was like for a lot of us. So I think when we came back from it, there was just an urgency to be better, and to be, more open to listening to each other creatively, and at the same time, writing music that can, make a difference for people, man, and help. And so, look, we're one band, we're one song, a collection of songs that we can do. But if, it can make someone smile or bring someone together to come see us live and throw their hands up in the air and just find some peace away from their chaotic normalcy, then, we wanted to do that. And we weren't shying away. There was a different kind of bullish mentality we had that I think you hear when you listen to this record. It was like, look, like, we know who we are. We understand that people might be doubting or people might be on the fence with this band, but we're going to give them back to, let's go back to what they all want us to know what we're doing. And, we're all influenced by hard rock and metal and metalcore bands. So we just were like, look, we're going to bring it. Right. And Drew was that producer we needed to really kind of hone in and really tie those loose ends and bring it all together. So it was just a great experience, man. We were having so much fun. And like I said, I think that comes off when you hear this.
It does. Yeah. I mean, not just having that message there, but then you go back and listen to, like, I had a few listens to it, once to just listen to the music and then listen to the message. But the music on this album is fantastic as well. The well-written songs.
Yeah, thank you. We spent time. I mean, I got a great band. The band members are top notch, and I feel like they've dealt with their own personal demons the way I have too. It's just we were very focused on, almost like, hey, fuck the vocal, music first. Music first, and we spent a lot of time. I mean, Pop Evil has definitely been very melodic because of my voice throughout the history of the project. So it was important to remind people that the band is very talented, and we wanted to remind them just by listening to the music tracks on this record that they'll move you. So it's great hearing you say that, because we definitely were cautious of making sure that the band is very sonically perfect on this album. So it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, just the quality of it, because you go back and listen to, you can hear everything. It's a really good mix.
Yeah, Drew Falk.
Yeah, Drew, yeah.
He produced and mixed it. He's a magician, and his passion. Like, I worked with him in the past, a couple songs here and there, and never felt like we had enough time to. I always felt like there was more that we left on the plate that we wanted to address. And went back to him this album and said, look, when you do the full record, I'd love to have you, and kind of told him my vision and where the band was at, and he understood it and thought he could help, and was like, look, let's do this thing. And he's just, a producer is everything, man. I mean, a band's great, no doubt about it. But when you get that producer, that mentor, that other band member that comes in, that can just be kind of open-minded to just bringing it together and listening and kind of adding his vision with you. It's just, when that stuff is on the same page, it's and for that reason alone, I feel like it's one of our best. Certainly, if you're going to put me in the grave tomorrow, and I was going to say, what I'm the most proud of, certainly this album would be up there for me. I'm just very proud. I'm proud of where we are as people in our lives. At the end of the day, this isn't music. This is human beings. This is a human business, right? Like, this is a journey about people making art, and who to say that someone's art's better than the next? Like, I get it. We all like songs better than others, and we all like other bands better than others. And certainly there's plenty of people who like us, and there's plenty that who don't. But I think that the true journey of it, and the true the meaning behind it is your journey along the way, and making music that can start by helping you and as a band. And if you believe in what you're writing, and you really truly are putting your heart out there and your emotion out there, like, it starts with healing with yourself, with the music that you're making. And when you do that, the conviction you have on stage is through the roof, man. I mean, when you personally writing songs that are close to you, it's hard not to have that come across on stage. And that's another thing where we wanted to take more of the live element from stage and bring it to the studio process. And the way to really do that is writing from the soul, man, writing from with your inner self, like whatever's really haunting you, and letting that come out. And songs like, Paranoid, those voices in your head. I mean, even if something is obvious when you hear it, of some other tricked out digital, the voice in your head is a threat. Like, hearing it, like, that's almost like identical to what the voice sounds like in my head. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, do you want to do you really want this? Do you want that? Like, it's like, I wanted to almost get with Drew and be like, look, I want as close to the demons that I've had to deal with. I want to show those now. And sometimes going to those places and going to those dark places make writing very intimidating and daunting in a way, right? You don't even want to go there. So you're like, I'll write this instead. But, when you do that, there's a disconnect sometimes live, because, you're writing something out, might not have the same, it might not burn from your inner core, right? And when it does, it just makes it different, and there was a lot of that inner core bleeding that we were doing, just bleeding, just oozing out on the tracks and on these sessions that made it just so much more honest, man, and heartfelt, and really allowed for the healing for me personally. And I'm sure the other band members could speak for themselves, but allowed, that made these songs that's that much more enjoyable. And again, when you hear them in this record, I think you can honestly hear that sonically. It's like, wow, this is just, it's different. There's a bounce, there's an energy that's just different than on previous Pop People albums. Certainly in the whole collection, it feels like a whole, like, it feels like, it's all from the same band. It wasn't, and sometimes we've had different producers. It took a minute to find Drew, and unfortunately, you don't always have time to waste. You pick a producer, or you do multiple producers, and you're searching to find that magical collaboration where it just feels like the right time and the right place for us both. And we know who we are now and what we're trying to do, and blending that old school fan base we have with the new, and that's leads to a lot of excitement as we look to the future, and where we want to create and future albums, and where we want to take our live shows. So we're definitely excited about that.
Yeah, that's great. So have you tried any of these songs live yet?
A couple, not a lot. We took 4 months off, I want to say, like around Christmas time, to just really regroup and recharge the batteries. I mean, once the album's released, it's a 2-year process. It's a long haul. So we wanted to just make sure everyone was ready. And we start actually in the upcoming weeks. So it'll be interesting to kind of, we'll start with what's comfortable. And then as the album goes on, in rehearsals and then in sound checks, we'll just kind of, I want to see what organically happens. I'm excited to see what kind of the band gravitates to, what songs gravitate towards us, and how they work out in the show. So I find when you play them all at the same time, and we're in rehearsal, it becomes more like work. When it becomes natural and organic, then these songs really become a part of your live show and your set, and they really add those components, those positive elements to your show that we're looking for to make our show even that much better. So, blending the old set list with these new songs is definitely a challenge, and we're looking forward to kind of embracing that challenge and seeing what sticks, and that's what the fans are going to have to find out when they come see us play.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. I mean, so I used to write down, like my favorite songs I listen to, and I couldn't for this one. They're all great. So it's going to be a hard one to pick live. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I love hearing that.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
especially like what was it? Who Will We Become? That's a great song, and just like that chorus really punches it out. You really feel it.
I appreciate that. And just kind of sometimes, I find even with myself, you're always looking at blame, putting it elsewhere, or you're in another part of the world. And sometimes you got to ask yourself questions, to be like, well, who I'll become if I just stand here on my own, or not just do the little thing by just the people that I'm affecting in my everyday life, right? My neighbors, my close friends. Like, you can start there by like just sometimes asking simple questions and reminding yourself that you're not alone, or that you can make a difference, that you do matter. Like can be all that. And that's kind of where that song stems from. And obviously the big political issue of it too, and where the world is, and the hate and the racism and all that stuff that's there. It's just like, there was a lot of that in this album, to just like I just want to be, I want to be kind to people, man. Like you have a choice in your life, right? Like, how do you want to live it? Do you want to live it depressed and angry and jealous of your peers and always worried about what the next person has? That's a dark place to live. That's a tough life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. I mean, last time I heard, it was great to be at a party with new people and toasting with them. Like, hey man, meet you. You like the same music I like? Cool. Or you're from where again? Oh, dude, I always wanted to go there. You know, let's go. Or I've been there too. Get out of here. You know, it's like, you know, the thing that make us different are what make being a human so cool, right? Because if we were all the same, then we would be animals, right? Like, I mean, animals all look the same, right? Like the reason that we were created different, and the reason we all are in different parts of the world to enjoy, and especially with this social media and this technology, like we're able to enjoy each other differently, right? And you have a choice, and you know who we become is the eternal question we ask each other as a species. So like we have a choice in this generation, us living in it right now, to you know send a message to these kids and these next generation coming on the come up to, you know, this is how we chose to live in our time. You know, we're appreciating the world, we're appreciating the environment, the people we live in. We're certainly appreciating our neighbors and respecting and appreciating our music as well. But you know, again, you have that option, and I think that there's a lot of these things that we were dealing with internally as a band. Myself, when making this album, and this song just turned out awesome, and the way the melody, like you said on the chorus, I mean, the urgency. That's what I really love about this song's. You know, vocally on the chorus. I mean, you can hear the urgency. I mean, almost pushing the vocal to crack. You know, I mean, it's just like, you know, you know, I mean, it's almost like it's almost tearful. You know, like you can almost hear the cry for help. You know, that like it was just really cool. And again, that's Drew. You know, he wouldn't settle until I hit that and I delivered the exact amount of motion that I needed for that chorus. And it's great having a producer like that to go back and forth and like, hey, because when you're sometimes singing it. You're singing it. You're not knowing. You don't always hear it. You sing it. You don't hear it. So when it's played back for you, or when you have a producer that's hearing it in the moment, it adds to that dynamic, and not being afraid to take criticism and being like, nope, not good enough. Let me do it again. You know, rather than, oh, my voice is killing me. Let's do it. You know, nope, let's run it again. Let's run it again. So it just was awesome. So, you know, thank you. I appreciate it, you know, because that song, it was written later on in the process too. So you never know how those later ones are going to go. But it was a special song, and really excited. I've had a lot of people lately that have heard the album, not a lot, but a lot lately, that they really gravitated that song. So it's really cool to see, because everything in the early stages was all about Eye of the Storm and Paranoid, and the first half of the album. So it's great to see, you know, favorites come up from, you know, from the newer stuff that was written. So it's cool.
And pretty much all the songs I find got their own little message, you know, in a way. But it all blends down to this one thing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Positive, and yeah, it's just fantastic. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
For me, I mean, I'm mainly a guitarist. You know, I grew up just playing guitar. I didn't really get into lyrics until later. But then when you really sit down and listen to it, I was always like, I listen to a riff and, oh, that's fantastic. That's a great song. But when you hear the riffs and the lyrics in together, like what you guys have done, it just brings it all together. It's a perfect album.
Well, you hit that on the head, right? Because us as people, we relate to things differently sometimes, and it might be every song's different, you know, like sometimes if you're in the mood to be more emotionally driven, then you're listening to the words, you know. But if you're just in your car day to day, I'm like that too, man. Like the music is very important, and we were thinking about that making this record too, that we wanted the music to grab you first. Like, I mean, a great song, the music should just hit you, and then as you start to really explore it and make it your own song, it becomes a part of your life. Then you'd really tap in, you find these little nuggets of surprises that you're like, wow, this vocal really, I didn't even hear it like that. Or you hear this little intricate part that's been added underneath. Maybe it's a synth part, you know, maybe it's an added drum fill that Haley did, you know. So it's we were trying to be aware of giving those little nuggets where you would want to hear these songs over and over, and take something away from it each listen, you know. So that's cool. Yeah.
And like I said, I listened to the album a few times, and I think it really, you know, you don't have to listen to it to like it. It's just a matter of listening to different things each time you listen to it, you know.
Cool. Absolutely. You know, I love hearing that, because that's what you're the kind of fan that we love, right? Because because we spend a lot of time doing that too, right? You make your first draft, and then you go back and you're adding things that either help the song, or you're like, nah, this isn't working, delete that, mute that, or hey, turn that up in the mix, turn that down. So you're trying to constantly always be giving little musical little parts that can actually, you know. And it's like, because you want to get people, it's like going to a live show, right? Like if you can't see a band live, but you're listening to their album, you want to get those moments while listening to the album that make you, you know, that keep you entertained, that keep you on your toes. Like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting that. Let me hear that again. Let me hear that again. You know, rather than just doubling up a chorus over and over and over, you get different, you get more intricate. And that becomes, you know, as you become a better songwriter and more comfortable with things you've done in the past, you try different things, you know, like, and it's really cool to hear you say, because, you know, we spent a lot of time to make sure that we give as many of those little tasty little surprises that we could for our fans, you know, so it was fun.
Now, I want to go back to the film clips, which are fantastic as well, the video clips.
Yeah.
So who's the man behind that?
It depends on the video, you know, either Storm or Paranoid.
Maybe Paranoid, yeah, because that's a pretty full-on.
Yeah, Paranoid is Jensen Noah. He is a legend. I mean, even in Sam Shapiro, who did Eye of the Storm, they're both so talented. They're both legends, you know. But with Paranoid, you know, we had an opportunity to work with Jensen. He's like a movie director, right? Because when you make videos with Jensen, they're movies. I mean, they're a cinematic experience, you know. And he's so talented, and I've been such a big fan. And he actually tried to work with us for Eye of the Storm, and Sam Shapiro, who did it, I'm such a big fan of his too, that he had already committed. So I was like, no, we're gonna go with Sam, you know. And so when after that was done, Sam was busy. He's out doing stuff with Motley Crue. So I was like, Jensen, it's time. We got to do this thing together, you know. And he's like, please, let's do it. Dialed it in. He wrote the script, and I rewrote the whole video, the whole music video. I'm like, you're kidding me? What do you mean? What am I doing? He's like, just follow my lead. So we just followed him the whole day, and then it is super challenging because you don't know, right? Like, I mean, you wrote the song, you're dialed in, you think, but when you're working with with a video director, you have to trust them, you know, and you have to, you know, trust their vision and what they're doing. And I certainly trust him 100%, but it was a little bit different. I've never quite done it like that. You know, I had no idea. And I remember the band was supposed to be in at 8 p.m. I got in at 9 a.m. and I went till 5 a.m. the next morning. So the band, I was supposed to be done by 8 p.m. and the band came in at 8 p.m. I'm standing on top of a car, you know, in a crane, elevated. And they're like, wow, we came in at least on top of a car. This is insane. This video is going to be ridiculous. So it was so much fun, man. We were just, it was our first time working with him, but you know, Jensen is, he nailed it. I remember when we got the first draft, we're just like, wow, this is speechless. You know, you're like, wow, it's just so cool when you take a song that you create and you bring in someone else's vision and they just, they up it a notch. You know, he just took it to a whole nother level. And you know, we're excited to work with Jensen, hopefully moving forward again. And he's on top of the game, and he's the best in the biz. And you know, we just honored to just have that video in our arsenal, and just, you know, people are going to find that video for years to come and take something out of it. So it was really cool and put us into that world. And it takes you're basically in the world, your voice, right? That the voice in your head, that's the world it's in, you know. And in mine, you know, I'm on top of this car and the clock's everywhere because Tom's running out, and it was really cool, man. Really cool message, and the way he delivered the video was speechless to this day, man. I'm always watching it, like we said, and finding something new to watch, man. So, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. So when you do things like that, I've never done a film clip that, you know, full on. So do you see what's going on as you're filming it, or you don't see like until the end, like the outcome?
It's this green screen like that, you know. I mean, you see, he's got a script and he's telling you, and so you kind of picture it in your own head. But when I pictured him ahead, it looked nothing like that, you know. But they're outsourcing it too. He's got a good team in the Ukraine, and I know, and I mad props to them because they've been dealing with all the adversity of the war, you know, and still them able to put out such a high level of product and help us bands do, you know, put out our visions visually. It's commendable what they're doing. It's absolutely honored to be a part and work with them and to be a part of it, their team, and it's pretty special, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to, you know, future videos with Jensen and his team.
Now, how about with Eye of the Storm? I know you spoke a little bit about that, but just the making of that one in the rain. So how was that for you guys?
That was brutal. And we knew now this. We knew we were going to get slammed. Now, Sam, again, the director, Sam Shapiro, he called me, I think I want to say maybe 3 days out. And he's like, oh, by the way, you guys are going to be in water again all day, 10 hours straight. And by the way, the hot water heater broke, so it's gonna be cold. So we figured out, no big deal. So by the end of the day, I mean, literally, we got rained on from 10 a.m. 10 hours. You know, we're back and forth. So by the end of the night, we all had like hypothermia. We're on the verge. Haley and I are shaking. We're like pulling out our socks, rinsing them out. But it was it turned out awesome. I mean, and just to have that in your arsenal. But I think we said at the end of that, we're like, we'll never want to do a video in water again. So we did it. We already did that. So yeah, so it was rad though, man. We had so much fun, and Sam just crushed it. And we just wanted to be straightforward, man. Just play in the rain, man. Eye the storm, we're in it.
Yeah.
So it was. We had a lot of fun making. And normally videos stress me out, man. I'm not really a big video.
Oh, really?
It's not my favorite thing to do, but and we've had so many cool videos over the years. But they're stressful. They're long days, and you always want them to be perfect, and you always hate everything you're in, right? You're like, you're just like looking at a picture of yourself, right? Like no one ever likes to picture themselves. They turned out awesome and super cool and excited, always excited to shoot more, but ready, bring on the next stress for the next one. We'll see. But these two specifically were two of my favorites. So I'm super glad to have got them in my rear view though, because I'm done with water in these videos for you.
Yeah. So what's the plan now? So you got the tour coming up after
tour coming up. We're gonna headline in the US here a bit, and then we're gonna go into the summer season, which is a lot of festivals and stuff like that. We got in May though. Before that, we're gonna go to Europe and keep doing that, and then just nonstop touring. We're gonna try to get into more world markets. Would be great. Obviously, get back to Australia would be awesome, and get back to Canada a little bit more as well, and just one country at a time. Just try to do our best and hopefully break a few new ones on this album cycle for sure. But again, I don't work like that with what's coming. I'm more focused on what's happening now. So I've learned in my years doing this that the more I focus on what's happening months from now, it gets real stressful. So one thing first. Let's just get this album out and just get the band back together, playing it, and work on putting the best show we can for moving forward, and deliver it every night, man. So we're ready to get after it.
No, awesome. No, hopefully we'll see you down here again.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're definitely talking about it. So hopefully sooner than later. But it's so different. But we had that momentum there coming, and then of course COVID. So no more excuses. I just want to hopefully get back to normal. We haven't played a full touring season since 2019. So I'm excited to kind of put our first one together here this year in 2023. So if that continues and everything goes well, I'm hoping. I know that we've been talking about it. So hopefully, if not this year, hopefully into next year, we'll be back your way. So fingers crossed.
Cool. I'll be there.
I love it, man. Thank you for the support.
No worries. And thank you again for this. And congratulations with the album. It's just, like I said, it's an album that really everyone should listen to. It answers a lot of questions. It's the music's great. It's just got everything. So yeah.
That means a lot, man. It means a lot. I can't wait to get it out there and hopefully. Yeah, hopefully everyone's feeling the same way you do, for sure.
I'm sure they will.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for having me on, and I look forward to seeing you, hopefully your way soon.
For sure. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
See you then.
Bye now.